Hi team, I hope you're all well. Today we are going to try another try chapter tag, and I have 8 books this time. I am trying to get rid of some of my books. This lockdown has sort of kicked me into touch and wanting to tidy the house up a bit more, so one of those things is getting rid of some books. I have about 650 books on my shelves, and quite a few of those are not on the shelves because they don't fit, so I would like to reduce a little bit and make sure that the books that I do have are on my shelves because I want them there, because I actually want to read them, or I've loved them so much that I will reread them. Not books that I've just bought because I think I'm going to want to read at some point and then I just know full well I'm never going to get to. So I am being a little bit brutal with some of my books, which you will see in an unhaul that I'm planning on doing pretty soon. But to help out with that, I have picked some books up here that I think I want to read, but I'm not too sure, so I'm just going to try the first chapter and see what happens. I have done this previously, and out of the 5 books that I think I did, I kept 3 of them, so I do still need to read those, but I'm planning on doing that very soon and doing that in a separate video. So I think I will do a similar sort of thing with this, unless of course I end up keeping them all, in which case I'll probably split that video up. But I thought it would be nice just to do these all together. So 4 of these are books that I just have on my shelves in general. I already had The Last Namsara in paperback, but then I was sent it by Willoughby Book Club in hardback, sorry. So I already had it in paperback, they sent it me in hardback. Avalos also came from Willoughby Book Club as well, but these were sent like near the beginning of last year, so I've had them for ages. And then I've also got Seafarer by Natalie C. Parker and The Wicked Deep by Shea Earnshaw. A lot of people have recommended me this one because I'm really, really excited about Winterwood, which I've still not picked up yet and I really, really want to. So I bought The Wicked Deep for that reason, but I'm still not sure. So we're going to try these. Obviously this is fantasy edition, so we'll see how that goes. Semi-fantasy edition actually, because one of these is not fantasy. And then the next 4 again are all, well not again, but these are all book subscription books that have come from subscription boxes that I don't know if I'm so sure I'm gonna like. So we've got The Beautiful by Renee Ardier. I've heard mixed things. Dangerous Alliances by Janique Cohen, I think that's how you pronounce that. This is the one that I don't think is fantasy. I'm fairly certain that this is contemporary, but I think it's a Pride and Prejudice retelling. Now I haven't read Pride and Prejudice, I don't know if I probably should before I read this, so I've been putting it off, but I'm just going to pick it up anyway. The Merciful Crow, I did try and start reading this last year when I got it, but I put it back down and I'm not sure why. And then To Best the Boys by Mary Webber, so we'll see how that goes as well. Now 3 of these books out of the 8 I have on audio, so we'll be listening to the first chapter because that is how I would read the book. So the rest are physical reads. So I'm going to start off because I'm just downloading the audiobooks for these now and the internet's shit in this room specifically, but this is where I want to read. So I'm downloading those now. It's going to take a while, so I'll wait to do those at the end. So to start off with, we're going to read these first, and I'm going to go for The Wicked Deep, the one on the top of the pile. So I'll read the back out to you and then I will get reading and come back and share my thoughts with you. Oh my god, I cannot speak. 2 centuries ago, in small isolated Sparrow, 3 sisters were sentenced to death for witchery and drowned in the waters surrounding their town. Now, each summer, the sisters return, stealing the bodies of 3 girls and seeking revenge by dragging boys to their watery deaths. Wow. Like many locals, 17-year-old Penny Talbot has accepted the town's fate. Then, on the eve of the sisters' return, Beau Carter arrives, unaware of the dangers he has just stumbled into or the fact that his arrival will change everything. Mistrust and lies spread quickly through the salty, rain-soaked streets. Penny and Beau suspect each other of hiding secrets, and death comes swiftly to those who cannot resist the call of the sisters. But only Penny sees what others cannot, and she will be forced to choose: save Beau or save herself. Ooh, it sounds good. Okay, so we have the first page is the sea, which I'm assuming might be a bit of a backstory, and then we've got chapter 1. So I'll read that and then chapter 1, which gets me to page 13, because then there's another 1-page thing before chapter 2. Does this happen often through the book? That's pretty cool. No. Okay, so I shall go and read this and let you know what I thought. I'll be back in a bit. Okay, first book done. First chapter done in the first book. And I think I'm going to keep this. I'm really intrigued to find out what's going on. The first chapter doesn't reveal a great deal. We get to meet our person who is called, I don't even know what her name is actually because it wasn't mentioned. Penny, I'm guessing from the back of the book, and she has a best friend called Rose. They go to this school in this really small town called Sparrow. She lives on an island with her mum. Her dad has run away some years previous. Her mum's gone a little bit mad, and Penny doesn't feel like she's ever going to leave the town of Sparrow because of her mother. She feels like she's going to be stuck here forever, and she's not a very sociable person. She does have her best friend Rose, but Rose is trying to get her to go to the Swan party, which is being hosted that evening, and Penny's reluctant. She doesn't like to leave her mum on her own. She's worried about what she might do. So she said she's going to go, but yeah, the Swan party is like the beginning of the countdown of when these three girls are taken by the Swan sisters who died in the lake and were accused of being witches. So I'm really intrigued. I want to know what happens. I really want to know more, and I really want to know about this bow guy as well, because I'm really interested in that. There is a bit in here. So basically Penny's mum used to read tea leaves to people, so they used to go and get a reading from her, and Penny has been taught how to do that. She knows how to do it, and she's pretty much convinced that she's going to end up staying in the town of Sparrow and reading tea leaves to people. That's what she's going to do with her life, because she doesn't want to leave her mum. And basically she's been reading her own tea leaves since she was 5, and they always say the same thing, that a boy's going to come into town, he's going to be shipwrecked, and he's going to come into town and change her life. So I'm assuming that this may be Bo, but we will see. But basically that's it. That's what's happened in the first chapter, and I'm really intrigued to find out more. Like the writing style, a bookmark has gone in. Looking forward to finding out more about this. So first book down. Next book is Avalos by Sarah Holland. I know that this one gets a couple mixed. It's a mixed bag really. Some people love it, some people don't. I think this is a duology as far as I'm aware. Other than that, I don't know much about it, so I am looking forward to this. On the back it says, blood is money, time is power, desire is treachery, welcome to Avalos. And then on the inside of the cover it says, in the land of Seafarer, the rich control everything, even time. Ever since the age of alchemy and sorcery, hours, days and years have been extracted from blood and bound to iron coins. The rich live for centuries, the poor bleed themselves dry. Jules and her father are behind on their rent and low on hours. To stop him from draining himself to clear their debts, Jules takes a job at Avalos, the grand estate of the cruel Girling family. There, Jules encounters danger and temptation in the guise of Girling heir Rowan, who is soon to be married, but the web of secrets at Avalos stretch beyond her desire, and the truths she must never uncover will change her life forever and possibly the future of time itself. Sounds interesting. I am getting the vibes, you know that film In Time with Justin Timberlake and Amanda Seyfried in it? I am getting those vibes from it a little bit, but obviously a fantasy version. Well, that's kind of fantasy anyway. But you know, they've got the clocks on the wrists, and essentially you work for extra time. But again, the rich have more time because they are rich. It's a similar sort of vibe from that, but yeah, I'm interested to see where this goes. So chapter 2, it gets us to page 16. It's quite a ways in that, isn't it? So yeah, let's see how this goes and see what happens, whether or not I will be keeping this. I will keep you posted. Okay, I'm back. I have just read the first chapter of Avalos by Sarah Holland, and I'm on the fence about this one. I really want to know more, so I'm going to keep it on that basis, but at the same time I'm just not sure if I care. So that last page of the chapter is what's caught my eye. The rest of it I wasn't hugely bothered about, but I kind of want to know more. I'm really intrigued. So we're following what is her name? It's really funny when you're following a character in first person because you very rarely hear their name. You're not sure what they're called. Jules. So we're following Jules, and obviously this is a time in which, this is a world in which their blood can turn into iron, and it's done on a time basis. So essentially the poor will die because they don't have enough time on their hands, but the rich will live forever, essentially, because they have lots and lots of time. So there is a royal family type thing in this, and Jules and her dad used to live in Avalos, which is like the royal place, if you like. I don't know if this is deemed a castle. Avalos is like a castle, or it's an actual place, but they used to live in the castle. Her dad used to work for the royal family, but something happened. I won't spoil it for you, but something happened. She knows the royal family pretty well, so she knows Rowan, who is the lad that we're following as well, and she knows them really well. She used to be really good friends with Rowan, and he's getting married soon, and her best friend now, Arma, who works on the one of the stores in town, she's going to go and work for Avalos during the wedding, the royal wedding, because they are looking for women to work for them. So she's going to go and work for them with her younger sister Aileen, and they are going to go and work there. She's asked Jules to go with her, but Jules just doesn't want to leave her dad. They're struggling for time and they need more help. So I don't know where it's going to go, but I'm kind of interested to see what happens. So I think I'm going to keep it. So that's 2 books down, 2 books I'm keeping. This is not going well, is it? The idea is that I get rid of some books. However, it's really good because I know whether or not I'm actually interested in reading these books. So we will continue to do so. Next, we are on to Seafarer by Natalie C. Parker. I have heard mixed things about this, but what really excites me about this is what it's been compared to. Let me tell you. The first in a heart-stopping trilogy that recalls the undeniable feminine power of Wonder Woman and the power keg action of Mad Max Fury Road, Seafarer follows the captain of an all-female ship intent on taking down a victorious warlord powerful fleet, with victorious warlords powerful fleet even. I am really excited about this because I love Wonder Woman and I love Mad Max Fury Road, so I am super hyped for this. Really excited about this. How far do I have to go before our first chapter is up? So our first chapter is called Before, so I think this is going to give us a backstory. This is a long chapter. 18 pages. And then it jumps to 4 years later for chapter 1. So we will just read the backstory, I think, and see what happens. 18 pages. I will keep you posted. Okay, back. So Seafarer by Natalie C. Parker. Yes, I am keeping this one also. I am very excited about this one. It took me a couple of pages to really get into it, but I really wanted to sort of force myself through those first couple of pages because I am really intrigued by this, especially it being compared to Wonder Woman and Mad Max Fury Road. So very excited to continue with this one. I don't want to tell you too much about what happens in this first, it's like a prologue, but it's called Before. It's not chapter 1 though, because chapter 1 comes after this prologue section, but this prologue tells you about how Caledonia's family died, and I don't want to tell you how that happened because that would spoil it for you. So but that's basically what it tells you about, and I'm really intrigued to find out more. Once we have read the prologue, essentially the prologue, we get into chapter 1, which jumps forward 4 years, where I am assuming we will meet Caledonia as the captain of her ship. So very excited to continue with that one. Actually really enjoyed that one. I enjoyed it more than Avalos, but probably just as much as The Wicked Deep. So these two I'm most excited about. This one I'm still on the fence about at the moment. I could still change my mind before the end of the video's up. Next we've got The Last Namsara by Kristen Cicerelli. Is that how you pronounce that? I believe the second one of this is out now. I don't know if this is a duology or a trilogy, I'm not sure. Asha is a dragon slayer. Reviled by the very people she's sworn to protect, she kills to atone for the wicked deed she committed as a child, one that almost destroyed her city and left her with terrible scar. But protecting her father's kingdom is a lonely destiny. No matter how many dragons she's killed, her people still think she's wicked. Even worse, to unite the fractured kingdom, she must marry Jarek, the cruel commandant. As the wedding day approaches, Asha longs for freedom. Just when it seems her fate is sealed, the king offers her a way out, her freedom in exchange for the head of the most powerful dragon in Fergard. and the only person standing in her way is Defiant Slave Boy. The Last Namsara is an extraordinary story about courage, loyalty and star-crossed love set in a kingdom that trembles on the edge of war. It sounds really good. Dragon Slayers. I'm not sure if I'm actually here for Dragon Slayers, to be perfectly honest. I love dragons, so I don't know how much I'm going to enjoy this one. I don't want anyone to kill a dragon. Who wants that? Anyway, chapter 1 ends on page 11, and then there's like a darker page that doesn't in the beginning, so I'm assuming every time we get one of those that might go back to something that's happened previously, possibly. I'm not sure, but we're going to read to the end of chapter 1, so that will get us to page 11. I'm not sure how I feel about this one. I'm on the fence. I don't really want to know about dragon slayers. We'll see. I shall go read the first chapter and let you know what I think. Hello. So I've read the first chapter of The Last Namsara. I don't think I'm going to keep this one. It's hard. It was a good first chapter, to be fair, and I am interested to know more about Asha and her cousin, but at the same time I don't really care. Like, I'm not here for killing dragons, you know what I mean? Like, I'm sure there's a reason for it, but I just don't know if I want to read a book about killing dragons. Is that really lame? I don't think I'm going to keep this one, so this is the first no, which is fine. Put that down on my pile. So next book I'm going to pick up is To Best the Boys by Mary Weber. Honestly, I'm getting tired, that's what's wrong with me. So, the task is simple. Don a disguise, survive the labyrinth, best the boys. In a thrilling new fantasy from the best-selling author of the Storm Siren trilogy, one girl makes a stand against society and enters a world made exclusively for boys. Every year for the past 54 years, the residents of Pinsbury Port have received a mysterious letter inviting all eligible aged boys to compete for an esteemed scholarship to an all-male STEMWIC university. The poorer residents look to see if their names are on the list, the wealthier look to see how likely their sons are to survive, and Wren Teller opens to see if she can derive which substance the ink and parchment are created from using her father's microscope. In the province of Caldon, where women train in wifely duties and men pursue collegiate education, 16-year-old Wren Teller wants nothing more than to become a scientist. As the poor of her seaside town falls prey to a deadly disease, she and her father work desperately to find a cure. When her mum succumbs to it as well, Wren decides to take the future into her own hands through the annual all-male scholarship competition. With her cousin Selene by her side, the girls don disguises to enter Mr. Holmes' labyrinth, to best the boys and claim the scholarship prize, except not everyone is ready for a girl who doesn't know her place, and not everyone survives the deadly maze. Welcome to the labyrinth. It sounds really good. I'm intrigued by this. So there is a chapter that is just the invitation, and then the first chapter, which gets me 12 pages in. So we're going to listen to this on audio because that is the format that I have it in, as well as the book. So let's do that, and I will let you know what I think. We will see what happens. Okay, To Best the Boys. I'm not too bothered about this one. We're going to be unhauling this book, I am afraid. I just don't know if it is up my street, unfortunately. So yeah, we'll be unhauling it. Not a great deal happens in the first chapter, to be perfectly honest. Absolutely nothing to do with what the book's actually about happens, so I didn't really get into that bit, but I'm not bothered either way. The Merciful Crow by Margaret Owen. I've just nearly hit myself in the head. I did start this at one point, I'm sure I did, but I wasn't really bothered, so I don't have high hopes for this one, but we're going to try it again anyway and see what happens. A future chieftain, a fugitive prince, a too cunning bodyguard, and one grumpy grey tabby. Fee abides by one rule: look after your own. As the future chieftain of a shunned caste of mercy killers, she relies on her wits and bone magic drawn from the teeth of dead witches, gross, to protect her band. The crows take more abuse than coin, so when they're called to collect the royal dead, Fee hopes they'll find the payout of a lifetime. When Fee discovers that Crown Prince Jasime and his crafty bodyguard Tavin have faked their deaths to escape the ruthless queen Rusana. She's ready to cut her losses and perhaps their throats, but Jazz offers a deal that she can't refuse. Make sure he lives to see the throne and he'll protect the crows when he reigns. To outrun and outwit the queen, the trio forge an uneasy alliance that is soon tested by old secrets, shifting allegiances and forbidden feelings. As Rusana and her band of deadly trackers loom ever closer, the three fugitives must discover what they're each willing to sacrifice to save their own. It does sound pretty good, to be fair. I have heard mixed things though, so we'll see what happens with this one. I've got this on audio, so that's what I'm going to listen to, how I'm going to read it even, but that's how I'm going to read it. Chapter 1 will get us to page 11, so let's do this. Okay, I'm going to be unhauling this one. I am not too fussed about it. I have read the first chapter of this before and then put it down and not come back to it, so there was obviously a reason why that happened, but I've given it a second chance and I'm not bothered the second time round, so I will be unhauling this one, which is a shame, but out of 6 books so far, that's 3 unhauled, 3 keeping, which is pretty good odds actually. So the next one will be Dangerous Allegiant Alliances. I thought it was Allegiances then. This is an ostentatious romance by Janique Cohen. I think that's how you pronounce that. This, I think, is like a Pride and Prejudice retelling. For the first time in days, Vicky felt sure all would turn out well. Perhaps her life had become a sensational novel for a few weeks, but surely it would end like Pride and Prejudice and leave her happy and in a position to help her dear family. She faced Althea. I'm in charge with finding a husband and I will not shirk my duties. I don't know the story of Pride and Prejudice. I haven't seen the film, I haven't read the book. Lady Victoria Aston has everything she could want, an older sister happily wed, the future of her family estate secure, and ample opportunity to while her time away in the fields around her home. But Vicky's comfortable idyllic life is overturned in the course of one night. Her sister's husband is a terrible cad and now Vicky must marry or find herself and her family destitute. And only with the wisdom she has gained from her beloved novels by Jane Austen, she enters society's treacherous season. Still, Miss Austen has little to say about Vicky's particular circumstances, whether the gorgeous and roguish Mr. Carmichael is indeed a scoundrel, if her former best friend, the much-grown and very handsome Tom Sherburne, is out for her dowry or for her heart, or even how to fend off the attentions of the foppish Mr. Silby, he of the unfortunate fashion sensibility. Most unfortunate of all, Vicky's books are silent on the topic of mysterious accidents cropping up around her, accidents that could prevent her from surviving her wedding day. Actually, it sounds really, really interesting. I don't think I do need to know the Pride and Prejudice story to read this, so we will see. I know that Desi from Pastel Pages has loved this, but she absolutely adores Jane Austen's books, so I think that goes in her favour massively. Chapter the first is what the first chapter's called. Okay, this is a reasonably long chapter considering it's contemporary. 23 pages. Okay, let's do this and listen to it on BookBeat, so let's do this. Okay, I didn't read the whole chapter for this. I got 10 pages in and I've decided I'm going to keep it. I think what I'm going to do is read Pride and Prejudice first, because I think that will give me a really good sense for what is happening in this book. I don't think it's necessarily specifically a Pride and Prejudice retelling as such, but I think there's going to be a lot of reference to Pride and Prejudice within this book, and I think it would be really good for my own sense of understanding what's fully happening in this to know the Pride and Prejudice story. So I think that's what I'm going to do, but I really want to keep this because I think it's going to be a really good story. The first 10 pages that I read I really enjoyed, so I do plan on going back and restarting the whole thing when I do pick this up. But yeah, I'm going to keep that one. And then finally we have the beautiful Byron A. Ardier. I believe this is like I don't know if it's YA or adult, but it's got vampires in it and it's set in New Orleans, and I am here for that. Also, these red sprayed edges are beautiful. In 1872, New Orleans is a city ruled by the dead, but to 17-year-old Celine Rousseau, It's also a safe haven after she's forced to flee her life in Paris. Quickly entrapped by the vibrant city, from its music to its extravagant soirees and even its danger, she soon becomes embroiled in the city's glitzy underworld, and particularly the group known as La Cour des Lions. But when a body is found in their lair, Celine is forced to battle her attraction for the group's enigmatic leader, Sebastian Saint-Germain, and suspicious about his guilt along with her own secrets. As more bodies are discovered, New Orleans becomes gripped by the terror of a serial killer on the loose, one who seems to have Celine in his sights. But when she finally takes matters into her own hands, she finds herself caught in the midst of an old-age feud between the darkest creatures of the night, where the price of forbidden love is her life. Ooh, I'm intrigued by this. I think I definitely get the originals vibes from it, you know, the spin-off from the Vampire Diaries, because that is set in New Orleans and obviously the vampires. So yeah, I'm really hyped for this one. Actually, this is one of the ones that I think I'm going to love, but I have heard mixed things about it, so we will see. Okay, these chapters are short, which is good. I love short chapters. Awesome. Okay, so the first one is, okay, where are we? The first chapter is this page and that little bit. So I think what I might do is read the next chapter as well, which will get me to page 7. It'll just give me a little bit more to go on, I think. So yeah, let's go ahead and do that, and I will let you know what I think about this one. Okay, The Beautiful by Renee Ahdieh. I will be keeping this. The first 2 chapters were amazing. I am obsessed with this already. I actually just want to go downstairs and continue reading this. It sounds so good. I'm very here for this. Super excited. We've literally just started off with our main character, Celine. She is on a ship on her way to New Orleans. She's from Paris, stopped off at Liverpool on the way, and she met a friend of hers called Pippa. Yes, who is from Yorkshire. So Celine is French, Pippa is English, she's from Yorkshire, and Celine and Pippa get on really well. So they're on the ship at the moment. They've just arrived at New Orleans. That's as far as I've got, and I want to know everything about this book. I'm so excited about it. So yeah, definitely keeping this one as well. So in a twisted turn of events, I haven't been able to stop thinking about The Last Namsara while I've been reading as well, so I will be keeping this one also. So out of the 8 books that I have tried, I will be keeping 6 of them. This did not go the way I thought it would. I thought I would be unhauling more of these than I would be keeping them. However, I quite like doing this because it means that I know I'm keeping hold of books that I think I'm going to enjoy and I actually really want to read, which is great. Because I've got a lot of books on my shelves that I have and maybe want to read or wanted to read at some point, but literally have no intention of doing so anymore. So this is a good way for me to try and reduce that number down, making more space on my shelves for more books but also just, you know, getting rid of the books that I don't want to read, sending them to charity shops so other people that want to read them can actually read them. So these are the 6 books that I'm keeping. We've got The Beautiful, Dangerous Alliances, The Last Namsara, Avalos, Seafarer and The Wicked Deep. I did check on Goodreads about both of these because I am on the fence about both of them, Avalos and The Last Namsara. The Last Namsara's got higher ratings than Avalos has, but a couple of my friends who we like a lot of the same books, they have both rated them, well, rated Last Namsara 5 stars and rated Avalos 4. So it's looking pretty good for me. So I'm really excited about all 6 of these, very looking forward to those. And then the 2 books that I'm getting rid of that I'm unhauling are The Merciful Crow and To Best the Boys. So apologies for both of those, but somebody else will enjoy them and I'd rather they enjoy them than keep them on my shelves with no intention of reading. So they will go in my already rather large unhaul pile. So yeah, I hope you've enjoyed this video. Do let me know in the comments down below if you are fully aware of my reading habits and you think that I may have made a mistake with any of these, or possibly with one of these 2. I don't think I have, because I wasn't overly fussed about them going in anyway, but just let me know in the comments down below, because definitely let me know if you think I'm making a mistake by keeping any of these. But I'm really excited about them. I'm most excited about the Beautiful and probably Seafarer. I'm really looking forward to those two. Also very excited about the Wicked Deep. But I'm looking forward to seeing what happens with Dangerous Alliances after I've read Pride and Prejudice as well. Because I don't read classics. So the only classic I've ever read is A Christmas Carol by Charles Dickens, and I've never read any other classic books. Well, what are deemed classics. So yeah, I'm looking forward to doing that and seeing how that goes. I don't even know if I'm going to like Pride and Prejudice at this point. Hopefully I will, but we'll see. So I am going to go. I hope you've enjoyed this video. Please give it a like down below if you have. If you've not already, please subscribe. I would really appreciate it. And chat to me in the comments. Let's have a natter. Tell me what you thought of these books if you've read them. Don't spoil them by any means, please. And I shall see you in the next one. Bye for now.